be the big one, everybody. Hold on. I'm sorry. Did I say that that was a sound thing? Ooh, I guess I was lying.
It's gonna get better right now.
Congratulations, everybody! You just survived Earthquake the Big One. Give it up for Earthquake the Big One. That attraction originally opened 35 years ago in 1989 and just reopened this spring for our 60th anniversary with a complete Hollywood makeover, updating all of the props and movie making equipment, bringing the set into the 21st century. Some movie trivia for you: the original Earthquake premiered in Thanksgiving of 1974 and was supposed to be followed by a much more thrilling film, Christmas of 1974. That movie got delayed due to various production reasons, but it's all good because guests got to visit the island of Amity in the summer of 1975, and the first ever summer blockbuster was born. Now, folks, I can't think of a better day than today to go for a summer swim. I mean, it is a scorcher out. And what better place to do that than the lovely little town of Amity? I got my buddy George out there, and what are you all looking at? Oh, that's a shark. That's definitely a shark. It's okay, maybe George isn't out there. Nope, there he is. Oh, George. George, buddy, you gotta get out of there. George, listen to me. George, stop screaming and listen to me. You have to get out of there. Oh, wow. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh, poor George. He had a lot of guts being out there. That's okay. We're gonna pull forward. The shark's gonna take the bait attached to the dock, and then we're gonna hide behind these barrels of gasoline, because that's totally normal and safe. Everything's fine. It's so fine. Give it up for Jaws. What a good shark. He's such a good boy. Now I know what you're thinking. You're all like, Alex, come on, that shark looks so fake. Then tell me something. Why were you screaming? Now, there were quite a bit of issues with the original production of Jaws, thus the production delay. The original mechanical shark sunk to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. There were so many production issues, in fact, that they nicknamed the production Flaws. But you know who doesn't have any flaws? America's sweetheart, Today's Show co-host and weather anchor, Mr. Al Roker.
Time for my favorite part of the tour, weather. When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968. Welcome to the only part of the back lot with a 100% chance of rain. The Flash Flood.
And there's our rain, everybody. Now, here in Hollywood, we use a pretty complex system to create rain. See if you can follow along. These are called sprinklers. Yeah, that's right. They're just sprinklers. We shoot the water up into the air and we let gravity take care of the rest of the work. However, you do have to light rain a certain way in order for it to show up on camera. That's why when we're watching a football game and the announcer says that it's raining, you might not see the rain super clearly because the rain isn't backlit. So you add some backlighting for rain, some sound effects for thunder, some strobe lights for lightning, and you have a good old-fashioned Hollywood rainstorm, or in our case, a flash flood. That flash flood effect has been used in many film and TV shows over the years. It was used in Lady Gaga's music
Appreciate you
video
guys.
for
Thank you for
Judas,
watching.
and in the cinematic classic Big Fat Liar, starring
I want you to
Oscar
comment
nominee
what
Paul
you think
Giamatti.
about this flash flood.
We're moseying our way into the Old West, or as we like to call it, 6 points. These are our 6-point sets. They've been used for many film and TV westerns over the years, but was most recently used in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, and in Ty West's horror film, Maxine. Now you might be wondering why we call it 6 points. That's because in the silent film era, this was 6 individual streets, all their own unique western town. And because the films were silent, we could film 6 different movies all at the same time on the 6 streets. 6 films, 6 streets, 6 points. Makes for some very efficient filmmaking. Now these sets are what you would call a facade. Facade is French for false front. Here in Hollywood, we only need to build what the camera can see, and oftentimes that's just the fronts and sides of buildings. And even though some of these buildings look like they're made of brick, they absolutely are not. Most of these buildings are made out of plastic, plywood, and foam rubber. Makes it very easy for our filmmakers to come in and change up the sets however they like. And as we forward, take a look at these doors. Some of these doors are quite small and some of them are very large. That's an excellent example of forced perspective. If we want an actor to look big and strong and intimidating, we put them in a little baby door. And if we want an actor to look maybe more small and frail and vulnerable, we put them in a big door. Just another way of tricking the camera's eye. Now, our 6-point sets don't only get to be Western sets. They've been Australia. They were Australia in Disney's Saving Mr. Banks. They were also used in Steven Spielberg's The Color Purple. And in the case of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Maxine, they were just playing themselves. Oftentimes, our sets just play magical Hollywood sets. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood actually won the Oscar for Best Production Design, and that was because their production design team had quite an interesting puzzle to solve. They needed to create a film set on our 6-point set that looked like the Old West and had actors dressed like the Old West, but then a film crew that was set in 1960s Hollywood working on a fake Old West production, and then of course they had the actual real 2020s, 2019 film crew working on the set. So we had a lot of different eras going on, lots of filmception, if you will. So I think they rightfully won that award. But now, folks, we're passing by Amity again, but don't worry, we're not going to mess with that shark. Instead, here is director of Jaws, Mr. Steven Spielberg.
Almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office of Jaws first opening in June 1975. And that was really the first time I'd ever got involved in the creation of the ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a greater circle of tremendous designers at Universal who were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the trash. And you mentioned as a about the Jaws ride, it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on Universal Lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
Coming up on your left, we have our Lion Estates signs. My Back to the Future fans know that Lion Estates is the neighborhood where Marty McFly grew up in 1985. But when he goes back to 1955, all that's left are those signs in a big empty field. Back to the Future was directed by Robert Zemeckis, written by Bob Gale, but executive produced by Steven Spielberg. We have a long-standing friendship with Mr. Spielberg here on the tour and at Universal, evidenced by this street. We are currently on Steven Spielberg Drive. Now, folks, we're about to turn into the Bates Motel sets. And while I would love nothing more than to talk your ear off about Psycho, this is unfortunately a quiet zone. So I'm going to get off mic, but please feel free to talk amongst yourselves and take all the pictures you want.
Blur kaya tama mo. Diba?
team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible mission and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Playground, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Whitney G. Pop. Over there, look into the Lincoln Center. Have your picture taken just like the kids in the movie. This whole place is using baseball. Remember that one? No? What? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Changes an unbelievable Welcome to the world of no.
I appreciate you guys for the support.
And with that, we're officially out of the quiet zone. Thank you so much for your patience, everybody. That is the fun of visiting a working production studio. Sometimes there's actually working production happening. So we're approximately 10 minutes from the end of the tour, and we'll be returning to the theme park shortly. Remember to pull the emergency cord if you need assistance, and remain seated at all times. But now, folks, we're heading into our grand finale. Who's ready to get fast and furious? Yay! But first, let's talk safety. Please remain seated at all times. No flash photography, and hold on to those personal belongings. If you drop anything inside of this attraction, I can't get out of the tram and get it for you. So please do hang on tight.